8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now then.
Oh. Yes. Look who's decided to join us. Oh, nice to have you on a Friday, Gary.
It's nice to be here. I've been very busy this morning, and it's nice to be live again.
Yes. It's better than sitting on your own when you're modelling, isn't it?
Sitting on my own.
Let's put me in the middle, shall we? There we go. Right. How are you, modders?
I'm okay. Cold, but I'm okay.
It ain't cold this morning. Bloody hell.
Even I've got a sweater on.
Winter has arisen.
I could see my breath in my flat last night. It was that cold.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
I haven't done that since I smoked.
Oh no, I was hiding under the duvet last night, so didn't hear a thing, feel a thing. Although I did see the first for me last night. I saw the Northern Lights.
Ooh.
You
Hey,
could
wanted to
see
go out
them
and watch them.
You could see them, and Jakey, my grandson, took some really nice photos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Kay
you
went
could-
out.
Go on.
I was going to say Kay wanted to go out and see him, and I was just like, no, it's just the colour changing in the sky. It's nothing special.
No, I've never seen them before, so
Yeah.
Yeah, they were here last night, but you couldn't really see them. You could just see like a little glowy light until you took a photo. That's when they showed through.
yeah. Yeah.
That's what I said to Kay. You won't really see much with the naked eye. You also won't see much with a normal photo on a phone. The only way they get it so it looks really good is they edit the images to make it stand out more.
My phone has something called Night Shot on it.
Yeah.
And it showed through so nice.
Yeah, I think that's what Jakey used on his Night Shot or something.
Yeah.
Good. But anyway.
Yeah, it just means it leaves the lens open for a bit longer. Yeah, so we've got a couple of comments already.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There's people watching us.
There is. It's impressive, isn't it? Dark Side Scale Modelling says, good morning, folks.
Morning, Tiffers.
Oh, morning, Tiff. Fancy seeing you here.
Like and subscribe, people. Like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah, morning. Please hit that like button. Jim says, good and Freitag.
Hiya, Jim.
Dave Cummins says, he's late. Do we get a refund? No.
Oh, Dave.
Nope.
Sold
Comedy
as...
Sniper is operating in this area.
Yes. Timothy is in. Hello, gang. Hello,
Hi,
Tim.
Tim.
Hello.
Columbus is in. He says, hey, lads and Mikey. Cheers, dude. Won't be around tonight to hang with the regulars. Been up since 4 a.m. for work. Now 11 p.m., so I'm absolutely exhausted. Have a good stream, guys.
Fair enough.
For those that don't know, Columbus Models is Callum, and he's won the Micro Machines podcast, which is the one I'm doing the group build for, which I'll be working on today. Very good lad.
Coffee.
Well, the rest of the posse's a good lad. Then there's Callum. Jim says, good morning, modders.
Good morning, Jim.
Because of course he does. Jim says, good morning to our gracious hosts. Good morning, Jim.
Morning.
And Jim says, so nice to see you today, Gary.
It's nice to be here. Don't often get on a Friday, but a window had appeared in my diary.
Yes. And it was a last minute thing as well, wasn't it?
It was a last minute thing. It was like I was sat here, literally just come off the telephone. Mikey screaming at me here, don't sit there on your own, come in here with me, have a link.
Yeah.
Boom. And I'm in.
Yeah.
So I haven't been in makeup or anything this morning, so you get in.
Scott says, had the southern lights overnight here too. Nice.
Cool. Yeah, it's just something to see. I wasn't outside for long because it was outside.
The most impressive thing I ever saw was when I was in the Falklands. There was a night where the weather allowed for a massive ring to appear, and it looked like a hole in the sky. Because in the South Atlantic,
Yeah,
it literally, the sky, it's middle of the night, the sky looks obviously the normal sort of pale to dark blue, and then
Yeah.
it's just this perfect ring of perfect blackness with the moon to sort of to one side of it. I was just like, wow.
That's fantastic, isn't it? Fantastic.
Yeah. The other one was flying back from the Falklands over the South Atlantic. It was completely clear sky in the middle of the night. So, and the sea was really calm below us. Or it looked like too, it was really calm. Because as we were looking out the window, it looked like the stars were all around us.
All right, yeah.
We were flying through space. It was so cool. Jim says, a chilly 8 degrees C this morning. Yeah.
Yes, it's what we call brass monkeys here today.
And Dominique's in. He says, good morning, glue sniffers. Good morning, Dominique.
Oh, it's on.
Morning.
So, what did you manage to get your dastardly deed done last night, Modders?
I did.
Cool.
Yes.
Are you all right?
Yeah. I'm gonna go and I took a cutting from the lily that I've got in the kitchen, so I'm gonna go and put that on later on tonight.
Cool. So what are you working on today, Gary?
Today I am working on. Oh, it's upside down.
Ooh, the Samoa S35.
Yes, I have. The underside is primed.
Nice.
I've got to do it in stages because there's overlapping bits that go on, so I've got to paint it in stages. I've done the. It's a bit bright, isn't it? This morning, I think I've got an issue with my curtain. Hang on, there you go. I've done the some of the work on the top part of the hull, and I'm just starting on the turret, but I'm going to paint a lot of it in modules, if you like.
Yeah.
And I've also painted the tracks.
Excellent.
So the tracks have got to go on, and then all sorts of things. So it's quite a complicated build, actually. You're doing your Senshimo. What are you doing, Modders? What are you working on today, Modders?
I may have a
Nothing
problem.
at the moment. I'm just sitting with a nice cup of tea.
Ooh, nice cup of tea.
Yes.
You've got a problem?
Yeah, I've built most of the track pods on this, and now I can't find them. That's a problem.
That's what we call a Marley.
Yeah. Why would I not put them back in the box?
Yep. Mr. Marley opens up a new box, loses the photo etch.
Yeah, photo etch within seconds.
Yeah.
I think he did find it though, just before we went on
Yeah,
there.
he did.
He did indeed. Scott says, "Hey Dom." Oh, there you go. Hey Dom. And Jim says, "Good morning, evening to Australia, New Zealand, and Netherlands. As always, an international group of the usual suspects." Absolutely.
Yeah, Mikey, I think if I remember right, you reached Russia at one point, didn't you?
Yeah. When I looked
Some
at
European area.
Yeah. And yes, Jim, that is the mighty Benji you can hear in the background. Declaring war on the neighbourhood.
Unfortunately, the only thing I can say in Russian is yes and no.
I can say something in Russian, but it's rude. And I learnt it from a Sven Hassel book. And Mike has lost his tracks. He's gone off the tracks.
He's gone off the rails.
Yeah. Oh, that was yesterday. Went off the rails yesterday. Oh, so yeah, this little tank's quite a nice little build. Little Tamiya. Oh, marketing.
Yesterday's a Hammer, today's a Benji.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, the man that was hammering yesterday's back in next door again today.
Ugh. I'll keep my finger on the mute button.
I'll be expecting drilling or something. And Mikey's well, yeah, let's have a look at Mikey's desk there. Behind his desk, you can see
A pile of
Tasmanian Devil.
Yes.
And he hasn't found his tracks, has he?
no.
Oh.
I bet they're staring at you. I bet.
You
The
haven't.
thing is, it's not even the tracks I'm looking for; it's the track pods.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't.
I
Put
can't
them in,
remember what I did.
Put them somewhere safe.
You haven't put them in a little Tupperware or tub or something and put them aside somewhere, have you?
That's
Smacks of organisation, that.
Willow, get off the curtains. Okay.
That's an A. What's a D? I want a D. I want a D. Oh dear.
Oh, this is going well so far.
Another classic. Another classic. Yeah, the easiest thing to do is stop looking for them and then you'll find them.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't help. I've got so many books everywhere.
I thought you bought a new bookcase for them.
I have. Well, I've been reading and things. So everything is finally balanced at the moment.
The mighty crash in a minute as he removes the key piece.
That nearly just happened. I nearly had a load of books fall over.
Well, it makes for a good end of year blooper reel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think you should do a video of some of the funny things the YouTube transcription has said that we've all said.
Yeah, but it's always me.
Yeah, it never misinterprets Marley.
It's because you can't understand Marley.
Yeah. I'd love to see what.
You think that'd be why I'd misinterpret him, really, wouldn't you?
I'd love to see what it says on the panel streams where Sonic's on it. That'd be funny.
That's Train. That's Kit Bash. What's the matter, Gary?
It's all right. Nothing. All good this end, mate. All good this end.
Okay.
Just had a message from somebody
Ah.
on another matter.
I see.
So,
I'll find him at some point.
yeah, they're not important.
It is annoying, though. It's rather frustrating.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go through my Warhammer bits box and find that dragon head for me Kit Bash.
Yeah.
Because I really want to put it on.
Thing is, I
Right.
can't think why I'd put it anywhere other than in the box. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Does not make sense. It's going to bug you. If it's like me, you just can't stop it playing on your mind now.
Yeah, I can't. It'll drive me to distraction if I don't find them. Thing is, I probably have put them in a little tub somewhere. Problem is, where I normally put stuff isn't where it is. Like I said, I can't see why I wouldn't put it in the box because they would have fitted in.
You put them somewhere safe. That's what you've done.
Yeah.
That, sir, was your first mistake.
Well, luckily I can work on the rest of it. Because I was thinking about it the other night, actually. I said to Kay, I'm going to have to build a track pod separate because otherwise I'm not going to be able to get the tracks onto it.
Yeah.
So I'll figure it out.
He'll be right. She'll be right. There you go. That's my Australian bit for the day. She'll be right.
Yeah.
It'll be re.
It'll be real.
It'll
It'll
be
be real.
It'll be.
Oh, excuse me.
And Gary's dying. Can you die quietly, please?
I'll do my best.
We don't want to disturb our audience.
I will do my best. Yeah, we don't want to disturb our audience sleep.
Speaking of audiences, some comments.
Yes, there are. Jim says, FYI, Mikey, you are mirrored. Am I?
He
That's my
means
right
him in.
hand.
You
It's
mean
Oh,
camera is
well, probably.
mirrored.
I won't worry about that. I won't worry about that. It's only on for the beginning and the end of it. Ivan says, good morning, all. Good morning, Ivan.
Morning, chef.
Morning.
Jim says, hello, Benji.
Yes, the whole world knows Benji's back from his walk.
Ivan says, hi, Jim.
Nope. Sorry, that was my fault.
Jim says, good morning, chef.
Morning, chefers.
Ivan says, modest sausage, good morning.
Good morning, Ivan.
What a
And he
sausage.
says, hi, Benj.
Yeah, he likes calling me sausage.
Ivan says, panel, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Jim says, I'll take Benji barking over the hammering fool.
Yes, well, the hammering fool is there again today, but he's very quiet.
Mhm. Ivan says, hi, Scott. Jim says, it doesn't make sense. Isn't that how government functions? Yes, especially ours.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Ivan says, they're not hiding in your beard, are they, Mikey? No, I may have noticed. AD says, hello, all. Hello, Adrian.
Hey, AD.
Hello. Nice
Hello.
to meet you. Join us
Yes.
from the
Yeah.
beginning, almost the beginning.
Yeah. Ivan says, hi, AD. Jim says, good morning, AD. Hope you're enjoying your holiday.
Yes.
And AD says, I am indeed, Jim. Excellent. It's really bugging me where they've gone.
You'll find them when you're not looking for them.
Yeah. I'll have put them in something else. Ah.
Ah. Da, 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 da.
Nope. That was a good one.
Da, 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 da. Well,
There'll be something daft like that, I think.
we'll find them.
Wow. did not realise how many bits were in this bit box.
1/10 figures.
You see, never underestimate the depths of a bit box.
Oh, wow.
See this.
Look at that comment that Adie's just put up.
Can't see.
It's all right. You'll see it in a sec. Just let you know, Mikey, my company wants to put that pic I've taken into their calendar.
Brilliant.
Nice.
Nice one.
Oh, mate.
It's a cracking photo, mate. Absolutely stunning. Trouble is, they've got to have a naked AD cross it.
Yeah. Mr. January.
Mr. January, yeah.
Right.
Right. So,
It's really making me want to curse. Not being able to find that.
oh, where have I put that now?
Your house.
There. This is where we see Mikey trash his house looking for.
If you want to put the link up, Modders, so people can join in, feel free.
Yeah.
It is Friday after all.
It's just sometimes you like to wait until like an hour in.
I know. But hey, I'm feeling generous today. Well, kind of.
And the link is on.
Is that Mikey's covert way of getting reinforcements to help look for his missing?
No, it's Mikey's way of keeping the show going whilst Mikey concentrates on something else. Because Mikey's getting bloody annoyed with himself. Thing is, right, I could literally spend a few episodes just working on the body of this, just building the body of this tank, because there's the gun and everything to build. But now I've got it in my head, I need to find the track pods.
Yeah.
Hyper focused on one thing.
Yes.
My brain is stupid.
It's not stupid.
Oh, I don't know. Depends who you ask. Jim says, Gary, what are you building? Looks like a buffalo or kangaroo.
It's a Suma.
Yes. You've missed a comment, Mikey.
That's what I'm building. French medium tank.
Yes, that one.
Yes. AD says, to think it was only taken on my phone. Some of the best photos are taken on phones these
I
days.
don't know. It's amazing the quality of the phone cameras now.
There's not many photographers. Well, there's a lot of photographers now who don't know how to use DSLRs and things. Let's go to Timothy.
Timothy.
You should see my bits box, Tiff. Like 16 years of Warhammer stuff.
Damn.
It sounds just a little
I
bit
have like a year and a half's worth because I did a subscription collection box thing for Age of Sigmar. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, it's fine.
Ah!
He's found them.
Look where I put him. In the most sensible place in the world.
Well,
I put the bits in their own drawers.
I'm pretty sure before I asked if you'd put them in like a little tub or put them
I'm pretty sure that was mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah, but to me, that's a tub.
Yeah.
That's a storage unit. But hey, I'm happy now. Whew.
The fact of the matter is, you didn't know where you'd put them. So the stream can now carry on.
Yes. Right, that's it. Nobody else is coming on now.
Yeah.
No, joking. We will let the guy in the background on in a sec once we get through the comments. Oh, there we go. He's on now.
No,
Here he is. Hey, Jim.
you let me in already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I blame modders. Just get through the comments, Jim. Frank says, "Oh, a calendar. I read that wrong for a moment. Lack of coffee." Ivan says, there's no problem having a naked picture of Mikey. That's what you think. His beard will cover his nudger and his cream crackers. Yes.
Very good, Chef.
My wife thanks you.
The world.
My wife, who's currently making her Christmas list. Kind of helps if I have that focus. There we go. Ivan says, hi, Frank. And Ivan says, hi, Tim. Frank says, hi. I don't need that one on anymore, do I? There you go. Oh, maybe I do. Jim says, good morning, Frank. Timmy says, good day, Ivan. And Frank says, morning, Jim and all. Only been up 15 minutes. Had a late shift last night. Got home from work at 4:50 a.m. Wow. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Yes, morning, Frank.
Yeah, I like your dedication.
Yeah. It's very Jim-esque dedication.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not fair. See, I've had a chance to have a full night's sleep. Frank looks like he's burning the candle on both ends for the sake of being here, which is, again, greatly appreciated.
It is indeed. I got a new desk light.
Gary, what could you put the directions on screen again? Is that Tamiya kit?
Yeah, Tamiya. Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering. I couldn't recognize the color of the plastic. I wasn't sure what color plastic they molded French tanks in because I never built one.
Yeah.
The Americans are olive drab and the Germans are dark yellow. Okay, yeah.
Apparently, this is a very, very popular tank because the French used it up until 1940, and then the Germans used it after they'd stolen them all off the French.
Yes. Yeah.
It was still operational tank in 1944.
Look, Gary, I have parts for track pods.
All right.
I can now relax.
Yes, you can.
No, Mikey, to touch on that point you just made about finding them where they should have been, where they were supposed to be all along. That's I recently reorganized some of my workspace before I started on a model, and I cleaned up a mess and put things away. And of course, inevitably, I'm looking for things. Where is this? Where is that? And I put it where I thought would be a better place for them.
There we go. Timmy is in.
Ahoy.
Morning, Jim.
Hi.
How are we all?
Good, mate. Good.
I do rather love your headphones, Tim.
Yeah,
they're starting to grow on me.
How are you today?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
John's on his flight.
Yeah.
Yes. Where's John off to?
Melbourne.
Yeah.
Melbourne. Okay.
Is he going to see Paul? Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, would be. And then I think there's also my grandma's 80th.
Oh yeah.
I think. Unless that was the other day and I'm getting my dates mixed up.
Morning, Dominique. Nice to have you here today, mate.
Yeah, Dominique says, morning, Tim and Jim.
That'd be a good name.
Sounds like a comedy team.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're already on South Park. Timmy and Jimmy.
That's right. Is that show still going?
Oh yeah. No.
Oh yeah. Okay. I haven't watched it same with the Simpsons. I haven't watched them in a long, long time.
But they ripped Harry and Meghan, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh,
we just want our privacy.
The prince and his wife, or is he no longer a prince, or is he still a prince?
No, he's still a prince.
He'll always be a prince. He's just not a working royal.
Ah, okay.
He's a prince of the blood, isn't he? So,
but is it have to do with him marrying a commoner?
No.
No, it's all to do with the fact that he didn't really. I think the most of it is to do. He didn't like the limelight.
Oh, well, I don't. Okay, I can understand that.
I think it's a
He's
hang up to what happened to his mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the two boys grew up under their mother's tutelage, not Prince Charlie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well,
No, you
talking royalty can border on politics, so let's put a kibosh on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to talk about ancient royalty, like I have a question, Mikey. May I ask it?
Of course.
Okay. Wales. It's a country independent, but part of the United Kingdom. Is that correct?
It's not independent, but yeah, it's its own country. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the
It's a country within a
prince
nation.
to the successor to the crown of England is always called the Prince of Wales and has been for centuries. Correct?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Because there was a time when the Welsh were extremely looked down upon by, remember the Welsh Rebellion of 1400. So how did that title come about as being known as the Prince of Wales? And what does Wales play? Are we going back to like the time of Charlemagne or something like that? Or
No, it's nowhere near that far back. It's because they had they were kings of Wales, and then when they unified, for a long time they was present. They didn't have any representation of things, especially in parliaments and things like that, because the British Parliament British Parliament sort of idea goes back to medieval times. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was just curious. I know I can dig this up on my own, but I thought you might have a little bit of an insider on it because you're a very learned and wise man.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to be facetious or anything like that. Okay. Well, just thought I'd ask.
The last sort of Welsh prince was Owain Glyndŵr, and they had rebellions and all that stuff.
Right, I remember that name.
I think it was a way of the English monarchy sort of placating the Welsh by saying, "Look, you can have your own prince," or something. I don't know. I didn't do a lot of Welsh history in school, and I haven't bothered to learn a lot about it.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you. I'll see what I can find and
But yeah, if you find anything interesting, let me know.
Yeah, I'll. The next point I was going to make is where do I go for my information? Not meaning that was a rhetorical question, not directed at anyone in particular, but I'm certainly not going to go to Wikipedia.
No, probably not. Best place to go. I've lost one roller. Damn. Shut up.
I'm going to relocate over to my workbench. I'm going to join everyone. I don't want to just sit here looking like a fool, even though that's me all the time.
I was going to say that's my job.
Yeah. Good morning, Kaylee. Good morning, Mrs. Connolly. Good morning, Gary. Evans. Another Evans is in the house. So.
There you go. Ivan says, after we kicked Owain Glyndŵr's ass. Yes. There's a massive Welsh rebellion.
Yeah, but didn't they just leave him on the hill and let the Welsh army just sit there and they simply went back to England?
I don't know, to be honest. We were told about it in school. But okay, it wasn't part of history that really interested me.
There's that old BBC series from the early 2000s, Dan and Peter Snow made called Battlefield Britain. And the Welsh Rebellion was one of the 8 battlefields that they covered.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust anything.
Yeah, they avoid teaching Welsh kids too much about it, lest they get ideas.
Yes. That's probably not far wrong, to be fair. Because there's been a rise of last few years, there's been a rise in Welsh nationalism. with people wanting to get independence for Wales and things.
They sure about that? I mean, didn't Scotland vote on that about 10, 15 years ago, and they said no?
Scotland have independence for every year, pretty much now.
Oh, that comes up. That's on the ballot annually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it depends on who's in charge, to be fair.
All right.
But yeah.
Well, I'm gonna relocate my computer over my workbench. I'm gonna bug out for a moment, just kill my camera, but I'll be right back.
All right, buddy. Can't believe I just pinged those bloody rollers off.
Is that literally it?
Gary Sauce says, "Morning, troops. How's the scoff? Any complaints?"
They only let us have one rasher of bacon and one sausage, sir.
It tastes like shit, sir. That's because it is, Airman.
Compost sausages were the best sausages ever.
You got sausages?
Never had a compost sausage?
No.
Oh, man.
Oh, the closest we had to compost sausage was when we had ration pack sausage and beans.
Oh, no. Compost sausage and baby's heads.
Yes, the RAF were that gruesome. Kaylee says, Pinterest. Yeah.
Pinterest.
Ivan says, Gary, mate, good morning.
All right,
And yes, he's talking to his
Mon Dieu.
Ivan says, hi, Kaylee. I'm not going to repeat that G word on it because it's misconstrued. What I'll say instead is I'll speak with the master slop jockey. He'll address your complaint directly behind the mess.
That's what I call my mother-in-law. No, the word that you didn't say.
That's rather frustrating. Can't believe one of those bloody rollers gone.
Is there anything you haven't lost this morning, Mikey?
Well, I really didn't expect that to happen because I pressed one of the springs in and the whole frame sort of flexed and it popped the rollers out.
Right.
Carpet monsters.
Carpet monster, yeah.
Yeah.
Munching away on it now as we speak.
Yeah. I'll find it. I'll stand on it later and go on my arse.
I've only got one piece of this dragon head to find, and it's the bloody tongue. That's the smallest, most ridiculous part.
Kaylee says, marbles? Okay. I'm not sure what you're on about, darling.
Saying you lost your marbles. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Apparently so. The other two landing on my desk. Don't know where the other one's gone. Oh well, I'm pretty sure there was some spares on the sprue anyway.
He said, hopefully.
Yeah. Problem is, I can't remember which sprue.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you.
Okay, Jim.
All right. Back to the tiger.
The tiger. Arr.
Yes, tiger. Tiger of the yard?
Yeah. Yeah, Welsh history is kind of limited in school when I was in. So because we only did it the year we had an actual Welsh history teacher, a Welshman that was a history teacher. The rest of school, we had an English guy that was a history teacher or an Irish woman that was a history teacher. So we did a little bit on the riots and stuff like that in the 19th and 20th centuries, but we didn't really do anything before that.
Riots? What are you, coal miners?
Oh no, there's been all sorts of riots in Wales. It's some quite funny ones as well.
They call it Friday night.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty.
They had one called the Rebecca riots. It's quite funny.
You could only riot if your name was Rebecca.
Well, what it was is they got fed up of the English landowners. Every road into the town, they put a toll road on. And what they did was they allowed English people who wanted to go and work as a toll operator to set up their own toll stations along the road. So as they were trying to move their carts of goods from one town to the next, they were gradually having to pay more and more tolls to travel up the same road. And they'd had enough of it. So they ended up getting in the middle of the night, dressing up in their wife's dresses, blacking their faces and everything, and going destroying these toll houses. And they made sure that whenever they needed to communicate whilst they were on scene, they only called each other Rebecca. So when the dragoons came and things like that, and they asked, who was it? We go, I don't know, it's just a load of women called Rebecca.
Very clever. Very clever.
Oh, yes.
Were they
The bloody
eventually
English
found
and their
out?
taxes, eh, Jim?
I'm sorry?
The bloody English and their taxes, eh?
Yes.
At least we don't have to work out our taxes.
Yeah,
I
no.
mean, that's right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's a big. Wait a minute, where'd Mikey go?
Yeah, Mikey's gone.
Camera, he has issues with it. I think it's something to do with StreamYard.
All right, he's back.
It's
No.
not. I figured out what it
Just
was.
No.
It's the
Ooh.
latest Microsoft 10 update. They've put a thing in that's like an energy saving program for the USB drives. Unfortunately, it's crap, and if you're not using the computer constantly, it drives off.
See, but it doesn't do that to me. And I've got Windows 10. And I've done the
I don't know. That's just what it says online, Tiff. So that's what I'm going with.
Thank you, Bill Gates.
Not everything happens to everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Gates. You gate.
Kane says you lost your marbles. Yes, love. Around about 9 years ago, was it?
Ooh. Someone might be sleeping on the couch.
Sleep all
Gary
night.
Cliff says,
Yeah, one eye
always
open.
can't sleep on the couch. It's a recliner.
Okay, well, that's probably be pretty good for your back.
Oh, it's not. I think that's what buggered me back up.
Oh,
Gary Stuff says, sorry, forgot the services are culturally sensitive these days. I'll forward your complaint to the NCOIC gathering facilities, who, despite being overworked, will address your request with respect. I don't.
well, that's properly addressing it through channels, then I guess.
Yeah. Gary says catering, not gathering.
Trouble is, there are no senior NCOIC caterings anymore. It's all civilianised.
Yes. It's all G4S now and things like that. And what's it called? Oh,
Pay as you dine.
yeah. It's bloody old. You know, before we went out to Iraq, that didn't exist. We came back from Iraq and none of us could get any dinner because we
Yeah.
didn't have access to our bank accounts.
Yeah.
Because we weren't allowed off camp for the first week. It was
Absolutely.
only when we turned around and said, look, you do realise we can't get food because we can't get to a cash machine. And they went, oh, well, we better start letting you off camp then.
Yeah, that would help. It's when the soldiers have to pay for their meals. I thought that's what part of the Army's job was, is to feed its troops.
You always pay food and accommodation, as it was deducted at source.
Ah,
And then somebody had the bright idea that we'll go to pay as you dine, and it completely screwed everybody up.
yeah, that sounds pretty stupid.
Yeah, we use that system as well. It's trash.
They're trying to like charge us like £6 for a sandwich.
What?
You know, the hell, yeah. And they weren't even good. It was just like a cheap piece of bread with some ham in it.
No, they were crap.
It's almost $10 American.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Jeez, it's like eating at Burger King. No, really. I mean, I don't eat it much
Oh,
food
excuse
in
me.
America. The price have skyrocketed. And it's just as well for
Frank
me.
says,
And that stuff.
Frank says, did Tim steal his headphones from an 8-year-old girl?
Yeah, she put up a fight too.
Damn it, I told you.
You saw her off, didn't you, Tim?
It took a while.
Yeah. Gave her the old Wollongong special.
Ivan says, Jimmy B will welcome back.
Oh, dear me.
Thank you, Ivan. Good to be back. Blimey. Let's see.
Blimey O'Reilly.
Dominic says, I'm going to record some videos for my YouTube channel. I'll talk to you later. All right, Dominic.
Oh, mate. Yes,
You-
I've got to be down.
Maybe see you tomorrow night on Jason's show.
I started planning my video this morning.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised. I used a Copilot to help me,
Ooh.
and it was very
Go you.
informative.
Is that
So-
that's the AI assistant?
Yeah, the
isn't it?
new Microsoft AI thing.
Yeah, it's actually quite good.
Yeah.
Just make sure you do fact checking on it, Gary.
Oh, yeah. I used to use ChatGPT for a few things. But this seems to be. I was quite surprised. I just asked it a basic question. I think it was. I want to do a video about the Edward 148 Fokker D7 OAW, and it gave me loads of information. So I was quite pleasantly surprised.
Is that something
Ivan,
you... I'm sorry, Mikey. Go ahead.
Ivan said they had the famous leak riots of 1985. They did. They even had Welsh
Leak?
terrorism.
Oh, the leaf.
Leak.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Took me a moment to think about that.
They also had Welsh terrorism in the 20th century as well.
What?
Yeah, they were laying kaboom devices at
Boom
that's
device.
the tax offices and things like that in England and some in Wales, because the English kept flooding huge valleys that had Welsh villages in, so that they could make reservoirs for the English cities.
Oh, yeah. That's not nice.
Gary Stuff, you might want to look at David Mitchell's book Open Monarchy, very illuminating about the early kings and Wales. Yes.
Open monarchy? Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, I got to write that down. I got everything in my workbench but a pen. There we go.
Kaylee says, "Get out my house."
Go on.
Cold suppers for the next 2 months.
It was England. It was Welsh and the Welsh and Irish slave trade that caused William the Conqueror to make slavery illegal in the United Kingdom. He made it so that if anyone who was caught owning another person would have to pay a fine to the king.
Well, that sounds like one nice thing William did for the English.
Yeah,
From what I
he
heard.
made it throughout the United Kingdom.
Okay.
And by 1080 or something, nobody in the United Kingdom owned a slave on English soil, on British soil.
Now, was it called the United Kingdom back then?
God,
Not quite, because we didn't have Scotland.
So when he conquered, it was just known as England.
As England and Wales.
Okay.
And I think Northern Ireland.
Was the former King Harold, who died at Hastings, was he also king of England and Wales?
Good question.
That I believe he was. I don't know now. Hang on, because he'd been up north, hadn't he, fighting the.
They were fighting the Vikings when they heard at Stirling Bridge when they heard what happened.
Yeah, but I got a feeling. I think he was just King of England.
Okay. See, to me, this is all fascinating stuff. I just love learning history.
Yeah. There you go. The ascension of James VI, or James I in England, resulted in the union of the crowns, with the Stuart dynasty ruling the kingdoms of England, Scotland, and Ireland. Okay.
Well, James, wasn't he a Stuart? Was he a Catholic king?
Ooh, I don't know if he was probably Catholic.
Oh, wait a minute. I might have my timeline messed up. I mean, it was only after Henry VIII where you had a division between Catholic and Protestant, correct? With the Church of England.
Yeah.
Okay.
When Henry brought in anti-disestablishmentarianism.
That was a letter. That was a word to be spelled in a spelling bee.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always good value. I remember going through when I was going through basic on a Sunday, we'd march down to chapel, and the Catholics had Our Lady Star of the Sea church, and then the Protestants had their chapel right next to it. So it's like a shared kind of area with like a garden apiece or something in between. But we'd march down. As soon as we'd fall off, we'd wave the other guys off and, call them heathens and say we'll catch up afterwards. And, all of us Catholics would go into our church and do our thing.
Here we go. This answers your previous question as well, Jim.
Yes.
In 1282, the death of Llywelyn ap Gruffudd led to the conquest of Principality of Wales by King Edward I of England. Since then, the heir apparent to the English monarch was born with the title of Prince of Wales.
Prince of Wales. Okay. Thank you. My favorite World War II battleship, too, with the best camouflage pattern ever. Prince of Wales.
1282, England and Wales. I've had the same.
Oh, I saw a picture the other day of one of the German battleships, and it was. I think it was in a Norwegian fjord, but they camouflaged it to look like a village on the hills.
Oh, cool.
Oh, the Tirpitz?
I don't know whether it was Tirpitz or not, but it literally had houses and all that painted on the side of it, so it looked like it was.
Wow. That's a pretty exotic.
That was on Facebook, so I'll never see that photo again.
Yeah. In Tirpitz, they had massive smoke generators, didn't they, that filled the whole valley in minutes.
Yeah. Well, they would light them up when the RAF was coming in to block view of the target. Yeah, the whole fjord. They just have these huge. They use that over industrial targets, not over, but at industrial targets in Germany too. The Americans experienced that at, I think, Schweinfurt and Regensburg and other areas.
Well, they figured out that it was an officer in charge of a German radar station that had actually caused the sinking of the Tirpitz, wasn't it? Because one of his soldiers picked up the incoming bomber raid heading towards Tirpitz, and he went to call the local fighter squadron to get them airborne. And the officer told him not to do it.
Oh, broke radio silence.
Yeah. Well, no, he just told him he's not to do it.
Oh,
He's to get all the way back.
I see. I see what you mean. Yeah, well, I remember seeing there's some photos of Turpitz after the blockbusters, or what would they use? Blockbusters, Tall Boys, what?
Grand Slams.
Grand
Slams.
Yeah, there wasn't anything left of that ship. Holy cow!
No.
Boy, when they hit their target, they really hit.
Mm.
You ever read a book written by Max Hastings called Bomber Command? If you haven't, I recommend you read it. It's a very good book.
Oh, my little tank. I think I have reached.
We've got some comments.
Comments. There are people awake out there still.
Comments. Kieran says, "Morning all." Good morning, Kieran.
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 Morning.
Good morning. Morning. Morning.
Mr. Evans says, "The mess at Catrick specialised in 3,000 calorie breakfast buffet. That was superb. Problem is, I still want to eat like that." Yes, that was one of the problems. I think when a lot of soldiers left the army is we were given like 6,000 calories a day because you're exercising constantly.
Yeah.
And then you leave the armed forces and you're no longer exercising anywhere near as much, but your body still wants the same amount of calories.
That's my
insane
excuse.
amount of calories. Frank Hall says, "I meant no offense, Tim. Just need to be clear about that. I've been banned from the channel for making a joke, so now I try to clarify and I mean no offense." It's okay. I think it was the look on your face when I read it out. It was just like, why would you say such a thing?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it didn't feel. That's harmless.
No, I am about the last person on earth that will ever get offended by a joke.
Yeah, that's pretty
Tim
innocuous.
Tim was a puddle pirate. He's not allowed to get offended.
Yeah.
Is that a term for an easy man?
I'm surprised he's wearing male clothes, let alone kitty ears.
Is that a term for a Navy man?
A puddle pirate, yeah.
Ah, okay. Because I think the old name here in America is squid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than
We call
knuckle
them
dragging
puddle
decade.
pirates. Gary says, "I remember the not the 9 o'clock news. Come home to a real fire, buy a weekend cottage in Wales." And that's so true now, you know.
9 o'clock news.
It became really
That sounds
apparent.
familiar. Not the 9 o'clock news. Was that a BBC program?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it had Rowan Atkinson and that. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I might have heard about it, but I know I've never seen any of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you should have seen it around, you know, with all the stuff that was going on between 2020 and 2023.
Mm-hmm.
It was bizarre. There was signs going up, you know, homemade signs and everything. People going, "English go home" and stuff like that. We're like, really? We got to that level, have we? Like, wow. They just stoked something. Next.
Bloody dragon.
Ivan said, "Hi, Kieran." And Mr. Evans said, "Sorry, it's called the Unruly, the history of England's kings and queens. Starts with the beginnings of the monarchy, post-Roman through to James I." There we go.
29. Oh my goodness. Yeah, thanks, Gary. I did write that down. And I am going to look that
He got
book
the
up.
name wrong. He got the
I
name
know.
bit wrong.
Yeah, I got the corrected title. Yes, and thank you again,
Okay,
Mr.
cool.
Evans. Greatly appreciated, and thank you, Mikey.
It's all right.
I said thank
I
you,
just said.
Mikey.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, am I really Mr. Skiffin's doppelganger?
Yes.
Oh,
You're the American Skiffin.
remind me later, Mikey. I had a message from Mr. Skiffins last night. I need to have a chat with you.
Oh dear.
No, it's all, well.
Okay.
It's all right.
Well,
stand in the tea chest.
Kieran says, "Morning, Ivan. Hope all's well." Ivan says, "Yes." Mr. Evans says, "Harold Godwinson was King of England." Yeah.
Yes, Harold Godwinson. Yes, that's what his name was. Yes.
Yes, and then there's William the Bastard. Phil, morning, everyone. Think I've just come on the History Channel. Hello, Phil.
Sorry, I'm just an American curious to know about the history of.
We're talking about what happened when Gary was younger.
And me, don't forget about me. We're of the same age group, my friend.
Yeah, but I don't like calling my guests old.
I'm sorry?
I don't call my guests old. I call Gary old.
Oh, that's okay, Mikey. I don't mind.
Frequently.
Like you English say, you got to have a sense of humor about it.
Yeah,
Can't take a joke, you shouldn't enjoy it.
Well, I understand that, but I'm Germanic by ancestry, so I would say I will yet master this English humor.
See, I take offense to the fact you call me English.
Well, I apologize.
I'm joking. I couldn't care less, to be honest. Ivan says, he was the son of Mary, Queen of Scots. He was indeed.
And now the BBC continues with the death of Mary, Queen of Scots.
Gary says, James I was a full-on Protestant, but was reasonably tolerant towards Catholics. Yes.
Okay, now James I, he followed William?
No, James
I. I'm sorry. No.
William.
I'm way off. Excuse me.
James I came after Elizabeth I.
Oh, right. That's right.
Before James II and Charlie Boy and nearly headless Nick.
Bonnie Prince Charlie, as he was called?
No, that was a Scottish guy who wanted to be king.
That's right.
That was the one that lost at Cologne.
And I think that was like 1700.
Right, correct. Yeah. See, I'm getting all my timelines mixed up.
That's the problem I have.
As Michael Palin said one time, when you're a king, you haven't got time to remember what bloody number you are.
Well, this is the thing. And that's one of the problems I have is I love history and I can remember a lot of history, but when I'm put on the spot, I'm just like, my brain goes, what are you talking about?
For me, if I may say something here, it's, there's a lot of talk about, like when I watch World War II TV and when we talk about here, a lot of the stuff I've read dates back to the 60s and the 70s and the 80s before a lot of, access to a lot of documents and war diaries and everything has become available. So a lot of the stuff, I'm loath and reluctant sometimes to join in historical conversations about things because I'm not sure if what I'm saying is accurate because I'm going by stuff that I've read from a long time ago. Now, I have been reading more and more newer stuff in the last 10 years or so, but I still feel like it's better for me to stay quiet instead of just come out and say, well, wait a minute, this happened, but what's that based on?
I think a big one has been the table talks and things like that. That's had a huge impact. Or it should have had a huge impact because that's where people tend to be more candid when they're doing dinner table talks and things like that.
Right.
So, for instance, the guy with the funny mustache, there's a lot of his table talks out there which actually back up a lot of what's becoming common knowledge now is that he wasn't that side of people weren't what we've been taught over the years, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I'm trying to word it without.
Right. I hear you. I mean, like, for instance, I read Winston Churchill's 5-volume series about the Second World War. And it's written by Winston Churchill and has to do with Winston Churchill, like, for instance, the censure movement he faced after the fall of Tobruk. When he wrote about it, it was like a walk in the park. And from what others have said, and I've read about it, is that he came very close to being unemployed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needed the El Alamein victory big time.
Yes, he did. Yeah, for a lot of reasons. But from what I'm using it as an example, though, of telling you that when you read something like that, you're not going to, someone's memoirs are not what you want to read. Like Omar Bradley, who's notoriously, Anglophobic. Like the legacy of Montgomery. You can say what you want about him, but there's more to it than what was popular in the 60s, 70s. In the 80s, after his death, he was just piled on, from what I heard.
He got the job done.
Yes, he did, and he was. I think he was more of a soldier's general than people give him credit for.
I did read an interesting. No, I was listening to We Have Ways.
I love those guys.
And they were doing their Arnhem series, obviously, with it being the 80th. And there was I'm sure it was on the We Have Ways, or it might have been another World War II podcast, but this guy wasn't defending Montgomery and Arnhem, but he just said, everybody says that Arnhem was Montgomery's plan.
No, well,
and it wasn't. It was Brereton's.
Right, but the point I want to make is that Montgomery was acting on behalf of the British government, which was bankrupt at that time and desperately needed to end the war.
Absolutely.
So that was part of these. I'm sure you guys have read about the strategy that he had, that Horrocks talked about later in his life, about having everything moved over to the left flank and moving through the Low Countries with the Ardennes on the right and just pounding the Germans day and night after Normandy, giving them no rest. Eisenhower poo-pooed it, wanted the broad front strategy. But the idea was to get behind the Ruhr and end the war, because their country was broke and they were out of manpower. The British Army had maxed out soldiers of age that could enter the army.
Absolutely.
Well, this thing, the British had also been fighting for 6 years by that point. Well, 5 years certainly.
5 years
by that point. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, logistically, it just wasn't happening for the British anymore, and was the motivation behind I wouldn't say the planning. The planning was Monty's and who he worked with, and I mean, it's very easy to dissect it from a long time ago. I mean, from many years in the future, looking back at it. But sometimes you have to think about how things were at the time. What those men were facing and the decisions they had to make.
Yeah, and to be fair, Britain punched well above its weight during the Second World War. Yes, all right, the Americans had to come in, help and everything. But for 5 years, we punched well above our weight. We didn't deserve a lot of the victories that we had.
Well, the Italian campaign was more or less. Welcome to the World War II History Channel, by the way, folks, where we as a simple sideshow.
Yeah.
But the Italian campaign is riddled with controversy because, it was Churchill's idea. The idea was to break through the soft underbelly, and his idea, if I remember right, and again, this is going on what I've read. And there may be something newer information that counteracts this, but the idea was, I think, in his mind, was to get to the Ljubljana Gap in northwest Yugoslavia, beat the Soviets to Central Europe, and cut them off, and even possibly deny them the Balkans, or at least get the Adriatic coast.
Yeah.
Also,
going back to Arnhem, that was another consideration they wanted. If they could get across the Rhine in September, finish early, they'd beat the Russians to Berlin, and then
because they knew Stalin was going to stay in Eastern Europe where those armies were, so they wanted to draw that line as far east as they could.
Yeah,
at least Monty did. Eisenhower wasn't thinking about that. At least I don't think so. It certainly doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. When I say the British didn't deserve the victories they had, obviously they fought really hard, and they earned those victories. What I mean is, we are a tiny nation, and we were against the whole of Europe.
Yeah, but we had the biggest navy in the world.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yes, and a large air force.
Mm.
That's where a lot of pre-war production was dedicated to, was the Navy and the Air Force.
Mm.
but on paper we shouldn't have won.
Well,
We shouldn't have been able to hold out as long as we did.
well, that's true. Yeah. How long the war would have gone on? I mean, it would have gone on a lot longer had the Americans not come in. But
Yeah.
that was due to events beyond their control. I mean, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. Then Hitler declares war on America. He gave them the in they needed to join the European conflict.
Yeah.
That would have been a lot of political tiptoeing for Roosevelt and Churchill to come up with a reason for America to join in open armed conflict.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of those Americans that says, well, you damn British, you're lucky, Lend-Lease and everything else would have sunk you. Oh, damn you, blah, 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 blah. No, I don't believe that stuff. And there's still, maybe it would surprise you, maybe it wouldn't, but there's still amongst what I call the meatball crowd of America, which are probably history ignorant, not a large, but it's certainly hinting of Anglophobia. Where it's just easy to say, I'm not even going to use the word, but the one that has to do with the piece of fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you frickin' so-and-sos.
Yeah. Yeah. Ivan says, then Barnes Wallis invented the blockbuster, and it was curtains.
Yes. Yeah, Barnes Wallis. Yep. Brilliant inventor.
He was a clever man.
He was the one who had that lattice design that they made the Wellington out of.
Yeah.
Invented the bouncing bomb and all sorts.
Mm-hmm.
And held himself personally responsible for the deaths of all those aircrew.
Yes. Which is a terrible burden to take
Yeah.
on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Evans says, James first was Protestant, hence the gunpowder plot by Guy Fawkes and the fellow Catholics. Yep.
Oh, right, the gunpowder plot. Yes, I vaguely remember that. Yes.
That's why we have bonfire night every 5th of November.
Yeah.
To celebrate the burning of Guy Fawkes. The thing is, he was pretty innocent in it as well. He wasn't really one of the plotters. He was just a guy that happened to...
burnt though, was he?
He was hung, drawn, and quartered, and then burnt.
Didn't he sort of cheat the executioner by leaping off the scaffold and breaking his neck? But
I don't know about that.
But they did it anyway.
That sounds like the U.S. military. We're going to shoot him anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, sure. But
I'm sure.
I know
he
he was
beat the
drawn and quartered.
executioner.
That is. I hope they killed him first. That's a brutal way to go.
But he wasn't really a plotter. He was just someone that agreed with them, so he tagged along. And then they said to him, do us a favor, we need someone to keep an eye on these barrels overnight to make sure they don't get found. So you go and sit in the cellar with him. And then the soldiers found him. And he got blamed for it.
Wait a minute. I'm just guarding the barrels.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Well, yeah, I'll say this: I certainly do appreciate and respect your the nation's the UK. I mean, memory of its history. Historical dates are still noted, and I don't know about every age group in the country, but certainly we're talking amongst people here. You're aware of things from centuries past.
Yeah. Yeah, did you hear about how some of the other plotters met their end in the gunpowder plot?
I can only imagine they're pretty nasty.
They heard that Guy Fawkes had been captured, so they knew the soldiers were going to be coming after him. So they legged it and hid in a cottage. And unfortunately, it had been really heavily raining. So all their gunpowder for their muskets had got wet. So they hid in the cottage and decided to dry the gunpowder out next to the fire.
Oops. Oops.
It went kaboom.
Yeah.
Right? I think one of them survived when it was really badly burnt. So
Gary, I think Benji's agreeing with you.
Yeah, most stupid historical decision ever made since Ogbad the Bad ordered 3,000 Viking helmets with the horns on the inside.
Well, apparently he was really badly burned. But they still hung, drawn, and quartered him for treason
Jeez.
after all that.
Well, they'll get their pound of flesh anyway, no matter what, even if it's burnt.
It's like dunking witches, isn't it?
Yeah.
If they drown, they're not a witch. If they survive, they're a witch.
Yeah, thanks. Boy, great. Jeez. Oh, the logic.
All the science, and I will not hear a bad word against it.
Yeah, good time not to be alive.
Which would you end up doing, though, Tiff? Sinking or swimming?
Sinking, because I can't swim.
Ah, there you go. She's not a witch. It's okay. She's innocent. Gary Evans says, "Grr, Tim Rock ain't no understand, but grr." For those that don't know, Rock Ape is a nickname for someone who's in the RAF regiment, which Mr. Evans was.
Yes, spent his career guarding our nappies.
Yes. Oh, no, it was the nappies out to 3 miles, so it's the mobile bratty wagons. It was the naffy wagons that they supported.
Could see the nappy wagon coming over the horizon with a convoy of RAF regiment scimitars and
Yeah, Land Rovers and things. A full mortar team on standby.
yeah.
I said, the victors write the history, true or not? Yes.
Yeah.
Hence why we were told the narrative about the guy with the funny moustache being right wing and not being a socialist. Because it would have damaged the socialist government of Russia to admit that it was a socialist that had done all that. So, yeah.
You idiot.
Thank you.
Not you, me.
Kieran says, I recently learned that there's a concrete scale model of the Mona Dam across a small stream at Garston, St. Albans, that was used for research into how to break the dams. Yes.
Really?
It is. Because they practiced it, didn't they, by how to shape the charges and how best to get it below the dam. It's sort of represented in the film Dam Busters.
Yeah.
Where they're testing, they've got bits of explosive hanging on a piece of string next to a little tiny dam. And they're all stood around it as it goes off. Which is, health and safety would go nuts if they did that these days.
Well, got a bloody war. We don't have time for OSHA.
You'd be surprised. Soldiers are have more protection for health and safety than most other employees.
I'm thinking in terms of the 1940s.
Oh, yeah. Kieran says, oh, yeah, just read that one.
That's the last one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm afraid I may have cased away some of your audience. We got into a history thing. And I can't help it. I'm just fascinated by the stuff. And I know so little about the history of the United Kingdom. And I know not enough history about my own country either. I tend to study international events and the like.
You could probably learn about American history in a weekend.
Possibly, but the right kind of history.
I love American history. Like all through school, if we had the option of doing an Australian history unit or American history or European, I would always opt for one of the latter two.
Okay.
Australian history is just literally nothing interesting.
Oh, I just had a thought and it slipped out of my head. Oh, well, maybe it'll come back.
I think the most interesting part of Australian history is the Emu Wars.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, probably.
That and Gallipoli.
Well, I look at it this way. I look at what the short shift the Australians got in the Second World War due to MacArthur. They were just pushed in the background after they didn't need him anymore. Once New Guinea was cleared, they took a back seat. They wound up just, losing lives on combat operations, attacking isolated Japanese garrisons that really had no value to the contributing toward the end of the war.
Yeah, it's not incorrect.
I mean, we're talking about Montgomery having a reputation that was, polarized. You either like him or you hate him. The same thing with Dugout Doug MacArthur. He would fit in today's political environment in the United States. Him and Patton would make one hell of a running team. Of course, you wouldn't know. They're both such egotists. Neither one would want to be vice president. How dare you? You read about MacArthur, especially in Korea, but also in the Second World War, and it's amazing that the guy, was able to exist doing what he did. But such is his reputation with the American people. Oh, gotta let that dry. Oh,
Experience.
Okay. Alrighty then. Ooh, we've dropped to 9 people.
oh, geez.
It's probably when you asked me that Welsh history question, I went, didn't really learn about it in school.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the reasons the Japanese are on kind of poor relation terms with their Asian neighbors, is that, especially with Korea and China, is that in their educational infrastructure in Japan, they don't talk much about the war or their responsibility in it. And that has been a long time simmering sore spot, especially with the Koreans and the Chinese, for good reason.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if Alan Murray ever watched this, he'd probably just laugh his tits off and go, idiots. Yeah. Damn amateur historian.
Might sympathise with the Koreans, but find myself not particularly caring much what the Chinese think.
Well,
Yeah, I can understand that, Tim, and I feel kind of the same way. I don't want to go all American on the Chinese, but you could also, I think, kind of lean a little bit toward the, owning up to the history about it. But then again,
Yeah.
what country doesn't? Like what relationship did the Chinese have with their neighbors?
Yeah, fair point.
The
Japanese did get up to some horrible, horrible stuff.
Oh, well, they conducted medical experiments.
I
experiments
forget
on Chinese civilians
I forget, and not just Chinese either. There were there were Russians and stuff that got
prisoners of war.
I forget the name of the unit, but it made Mengele look like a saint.
They what I also didn't like about them is that they interned civilians when they captured American civilians in the Philippines and Australian civilians in the South Seas. Women and children. I really think you should, turn it back
as well.
The government.
Yeah, the empire back in the day was pretty brutal.
Yeah, we weren't particularly innocent either.
No, you're right, Gary. There were Burmese and Indians and Thai that took up arms with the Japanese with the idea that we've got an opportunity here to expel the British. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ivan says, well, people got to go. Thanks for a great morning. Have a good weekend. See you all Tuesday. Bye.
Cheers, Ivan.
See you Tuesday. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah. I'm surprised we've not had Julian in today.
All right. Yeah. Our favorite comedian.
Mm.
Oh, Benji echoes that sentiment.
Benji's there. You asked.
Yep. Also, we'll see Ivan Monday, not Tuesday. Oh, we'll see him Tuesday too. Monday.
Are you getting confused there, Modest?
No, he said see you Tuesday. I'm like, we've got a Monday show. He says we'll see him Tuesday, but we'll also see him Monday.
Mm. Benji's pretty talkative today, Gary.
No, I'm just
Wow.
just
Gone down.
having a moment here because Tiff's talking about Tuesdays and Mondays, and I'm suddenly realizing I think next Thursday I'm booked. Where's my
Ooh.
calendar? So I was thinking of the 3 veterans thing on Thursday. I've got a feeling I'm representing Models for Heroes at the Battleback Centre, the Royal British Legion. I've just got to check. Oh dear. I must get myself a social secretary. Right, the calendar. There we go. Yep. All right. We'll need to. I might not be around on Thursday, Mikey.
Okay.
I've just realised.
So John will be back for Thursday and you'll be off for Thursday.
Doesn't sound like you're too pained by that, Mikey.
I'm used to it.
I'm just kidding.
It's an easier show if there's only one of us who's got the control.
No, forget it. That thing's just a win.
He only has to stop one of us singing.
Yeah, that's true. Hadn't thought of it like that, but yeah, you're right.
Right, so I've got to. I've done that.
Do you really get struck just for singing?
Yep.
That is insane.
You get struck twice. Once by
Copyright.
modelling, and then yeah.
And it doesn't come under fair use or anything.
No.
Copyright.
Because copyright law only covers the bare minimum. So companies can put their own copyright rules in if they want. Which is what YouTube have done.
Can't
So
imagine why
they've
they're
just gone
hemorrhaging
beyond.
viewers.
Yeah. Well, apparently the Eagles are one of the worst for it. Literally, if anyone does a copy of any of their songs or an instructional video on any of their songs, they just flag it and request it be taken down straight away.
Okay. Well, to be fair, a lot of older rock and roll groups never did gain publishing rights to their own music, and record companies like Atlantic and others made millions on their music because it somehow became, I don't know how it worked, but it somehow became their property.
Yeah.
And a lot of like the band Grand Funk Railroad spent a long time in court, but they finally gained the publishing, the rights to their music again, so that they could then control and of course get paid royalties for it. That happens. I don't know if it goes on nowadays, but it certainly was a thing back then.
I suppose that is a lot of rock and roll and metal and stuff, because I know Metallica took a lawsuit to Napster in the early days of music streaming and stuff.
Yeah, the old Napster days. Yep.
Or music downloads rather, not streaming.
Yeah. Right. Well, if you recall the South Park episode regarding Napster,
Not off the top of my head.
that goes back about 20 years. It's been a while. Napster's almost becoming a subject of antique history.
To be fair, Tim is only 29 years old, Jim.
But he's a very learned man. So he would, we all study history of events long before we were born. We were just talking about the Welsh Rebellion and history of the lineage of the Prince of Wales and everything. So.
Yeah, I like to think I know a thing or two about a thing or two.
God damn it.
Naughty, naughty.
Just had a piece of my tweezers and it's just pinged off.
Yeah. You build enough models, that'll happen to you plenty of times in your history.
Yeah, it doesn't usually happen this much, though.
What are you working with? Is it plastic or photo etch?
Oh, it's plastic. It was a small piece and it's just pinged off.
Yeah.
Premature pinging, was it?
Yeah,
Yep.
The problem is my tweezers need cleaning, I think. They've got no grips on them.
That's
think
what
I-
she said.
Might have inadvertently thrown a piece out the other day when I was cleaning my desk. One of the little struts for the forward landing gear door.
Ooh.
Oh, on the growler?
Yeah. Although luckily it's one of the little kind of auxiliary ones that's a bit further back and tucked in, so yeah, it won't matter. I've got like the main one on the forward
Okay.
doors. I
Yeah.
have that. So
Yeah.
Oh, crud. What have I done here?
Stick a sock over the end of the Hoover. And it'll get caught in sock.
Just wondered where you were going with that, Modders.
Hey?
I wondered where you were going with that, Modders. I wasn't listening to the whole conversation.
I've done it a few times, like a pair, like a
Yeah. I know what you're saying, Tiffany. Yeah. I do the same thing when I'm cutting photo etch off a fret. I put the whole fret inside a plastic bag and I cut from the outside with an X-Acto blade. So when the part comes loose, it won't go flying off into the void. It'll stay within the plastic bag. And then I can get it out of there. Learn that from forget where. I've seen that. So learn it on YouTube.
yeah. No, I've used the sock trick. Instead of the socks, or I'll use a stocking.
Okay. The stocking seems like a little bit easier to see the part then once you get it up. Being fairly certainly not as thick and as I don't even know where I'm going with this. I don't. Pardon me. I'll stop.
I'll definitely resort to that, I think, next time. Oh, I'm 99% sure this time around, because I was cleaning up for a house inspection. I'm sure I've just gone like that.
Right.
Got a whole bunch of little shavings off, and just a little strut was almost definitely in there.
Yeah.
I'm not
You
too
know
upset about it.
what gets me is when I realize I've removed a like a molded in pin that the manufacturer puts on a part. You think it's a burr of plastic, and you cut it and you look in the direction. It's like, oh bloody hell! Oh
Yeah.
what did I do?
Yeah, just removing like mold lines and flashing. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
a big bit of
Oh,
flashing. Oh,
man.
hang on.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
Tim, you were saying about American history. You know, one of Mao Zedong's role models as when he was growing up as a young man and as a boy was George Washington and the movement of the fight for American independence.
Yeah. It's cool, and the whole Revolutionary War and the lead up to it, and the politics.
Yeah. Well, I'm not
So-
waving a flag for America. I often refer to some American friends to things like, well, you know, when somebody fights against an empire, it's basically the same thing we did. It's nothing unique. It's not like we stood up where no one else in the world prior to that has done it. And when perhaps a country stands up to the United States for whatever reason, a lot of people get their feathers ruffled because I don't think they quite understand it. But my point is that, you know, that's what happens when you get pushed around enough. You start forming resistance to it. You want to do something about it. And, you know,
Yeah.
Americans can be a little bit too brittle about their own history. Like what we did was valid, and what others do against us, for instance, is They're fanatics. They're you know, they're to be feared. They're to be eliminated. They're to be destroyed.
Yeah, I am a bit of a flag waver for the US. My friends jokingly call me a Yankophile.
Oh, you think? Oh, I never heard that.
I primarily like play and watch American sports and all of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
well, I love my country, and I'm grateful for it. And I've grown up in a time where I've never had to serve in a war or suffered any kind of real great economic fallout of any kind or anything like that. However, it seems like a lot of our history is based on what we want it to be. You know, what sounds good to us and places the United States as, you know, the good guy in every situation. I know I'm speaking ambiguously and vaguely, but I'm trying to formulate a point, but it's sometimes difficult.
Yeah, I think most people have that. Like it's higher level thinking to be able to look at things like your own country's history through a critical lens and not put yourselves in the shoes of the hero.
Yeah, I mean, like the war in the Pacific was not just because of Pearl Harbor. The Americans and the Japanese have been looking across the Pacific Ocean at each other through very small eyes for a long time prior to that. That just simply brought it out into the open. Both of them viewed Asia as their own source of colonial power. And the struggle broke out in 1941. But the Americans always did view the Japanese as their real opponent.
I found it.
I thought you found the tracks.
I found a little tiny.
Oh, the part that pinged away. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. It's good for you. I mean, that's you really went against the percentages there, Mikey.
Yeah, just a little bit. Right, must not ping that off again.
Now, where did you find it? How far from the workbench?
About 4 foot.
Okay. A little over a meter.
The thing is, you're kind of lucky. It's like a yellowy kind of plastic.
Yeah, and it's a laminate floor as well.
Whereas I primarily build with grey plastic, and I've got very thick grey carpet.
Ooh. Oh, I wanted to ask you, Tiffany, how's the Sturmovik coming along?
Pretty good. I've got the decals and that on the bottom of it. I just need to paint the pattern on the top. There's a couple of extra things to stick on, but other than that, she's going good.
Oh, okay. Did you paint the camouflage on the top?
Not yet. I've got the white on it.
Right.
I need to put the green and the black on.
Okay.
So go for the winter theme.
Very good. You going to use the decals in the kit?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm guessing they're the same as my copy of that model.
Probably. No, right now I'm building the dragon head for the. I'm going to put a dragon head on the monster's car. Yeah, on my kit bash. And because I couldn't find the tongue, I've actually just milliputted and made a tongue for it.
There you go. That's a modeler's ingenuity. You didn't buy a detail set for it?
Exactly.
Guys, I'm going to have to disappear for a little while. Thanks for having me on this morning, Mikey.
Oh, okay, dear. I hope everything's all right.
Oh, yeah, everything's good. There's no problem or anything like that. It's just that I've got another thing I've got to do. So I will chat to you all very, very soon. Thanks for having me on, Mikey. And
I'll speak to you after this, but you said you want to speak to me.
Yeah, I'll drop you a message.
Tiffins.
Yeah, I'll drop you a message
right.
about it. All right, then. See you in a bit.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Take care.
Now I can't see how to get out of it.
That's your sculpting. If
Well, dropping like flies today.
Yeah, Mr. Morris says quite the busy life.
Yeah.
Well, being a granddad and having his family there and everything, and then being the Models for Heroes liaison or representative.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Good for him.
Yeah. I mean, like the chat's pretty much died now, and we've gone from 18 viewers down to 5.
Uh-oh. Well, maybe you shouldn't have me on so often. Then I think I'll just restrict the time I make my appearance on the show. I can.
I'm sure it's not you, Jim.
Beaten track. Well, I mean, the history thing, I just can't help it. It just, my mind just opens up, and I, just want to learn more and ask more questions. I'm almost like a, 4-year-old boy. Why is the sky blue? Why is that? I just find it very fascinating to learn about the history of other countries.
Yeah. That's fine. It's not a problem.
have any of you guys had any experience with polishing plastic parts?
You mean clear plastic or just standard molded colored molded
Clear.
plastic? Oh, clear. No, I am going to have to do that though, because I don't know if you know it, but in the Tamiya F-14 Tomcat kit, there is a seam that goes across the top of the glass, and it has to be removed.
As with the Hasegawa kit.
Oh, really? Okay.
For the Growler, yep, central all the way down the main canopy. So
right. No, there is if you look dig deep enough on YouTube, there are some tutorials out there on how to do that step by step. Yeah. And I know I'm going to be digging for them very soon because I'm going to have to do the same thing eventually, and I'm not looking forward to it because I've never done it. I mean, I've never messed with clear plastic.
I started the process because in my shed, I've got all my sandpapers and things like that. So, made a start and got up to about 1200 grit. And it does do a great job at removing it. But I think I'm at the stage now where I'm going to have to get myself some of that Tamiya fine and then the finishing compound, which you kind of buff.
Now, when you say compound, you mean like a gel or something like that, or?
Yeah, so it's sort of like a paste.
Ah, okay. Yeah, well, you might be able to find that in local hardware store too. I mean, it might be made of the same stuff and have the same, objective in mind.
Have you got a Dremel?
I do.
Excuse me.
I do. I got
usually with the Dremel sets, you get a polishing wheel with it. Use one of them, but use it by hand rather than with the Dremel.
Well, the only problem would be the RPM, I would think.
That's what I'm saying. If you do it by holding it rather than using it with the Dremel, that should do it. Or use a bit of toothpaste.
I gave that a go, but I think without the compound, the felt just doesn't quite.
I see what you mean. Yeah, you're right.
And I tried going, all right, well maybe I can power it, but that's very fiddly.
Yeah.
Just because the deform point from the friction is a lot lower than what I was expecting. So I put a bit of a mark in the canopy, but luckily I was able to just sand that back out.
Well, if I may make a suggestion, you said what was the grit of sandbag? I mean, I've heard of guys going with 12,000, 6,000, 3,000. Going up from there, progressively finer to that ultra, where it seems like it's a cloth more than abrasive.
Yeah, so I went with the 800 to kind of just rip that seam down and
right, sure,
fix that mistake I made, and then a little bit of wet sanding with the 1200.
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I think it's Tamiya. They do 3 different compounds. So like it's a finishing, which is a bit pricier, and then they have a fine and a fairly normal one.
Yeah.
And I think I did watch a tutorial of someone just going through that process, but yeah, it starts with just ripping it down.
Yep. Yep.
You know, doing a little bit of wet sanding and stuff. And then I think the technique comes from, you know, you'll sand one way, and then with your next grit, you want to do it crosswise.
Okay. Yeah, that polish you're talking about, I don't know if it's available there in Australia, but we have something called Novus plastic polish, Novus. If you give me a moment, I'll get the container. I'll show it to you. And there's 3 separate levels of this polish. I'll be right back.
There you go. Brian's just said toothpaste is a good polishing compound.
I was very close to giving that a go, just because I feel like I've heard that through my life, that, you know, if you had a scratch on your phone screen, you can use toothpaste to kind of buff it out. And I second guessed it and didn't look into it, but I might give that a bash.
You could try it on a scrap piece of clear and see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, I've got about a million pairs of safety specs in this.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
In the shed.
This is the product. It's called Novus Plastic Polish, and the 2 represents the middle of the 3. And you could go online to find out how they work, and you know but it's basically a fine scratch remover. And I found out about this through my last job. We made stainless steel covers for a lot of the machines we manufactured. And prior to packaging, the assembly line would polish the stainless steel surface with this process, 1, 2, and 3. So I've been using this for a long time, and I use it as a normal rubbing compound when I'm trying to take down abrasive marks on plastic after doing seam work on aircraft. But that's something you could buy. That would be, I think, a little bit more, you know, affordable than what Tamiya offers. It may be the same thing. I don't know. I'm not going to, you know, make a statement about that. There may be some chemical additives to the Tamiya stuff that's specifically meant for, you know, clear play. I don't know. So it's just a thought. You know, it's just some food for thought.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
But no, I don't. I have not tried that, and I have to. And I shouldn't say loath to do it, but I feel like I'm walking on thin ice when I mess with any clear parts. As far as removing abrasions, you know, obviously it can be done. Thousands have done it, right? So.
Yeah, well, this was my first time encountering it, because on the World War II planes that I've done, you know, I've only done the Spitfire and the Focke-Wulf D9, but neither of those had a
apparently that's some kind of new molding technique or something like that. I'm not quite sure what the reason for it is, but it has to do with something of improving the quality of the molded part. And I'm not, again, I'm entering into something I'm not entirely informed about.
Yeah, no, it's all pretty new to me, but oh well. Any kit where you're not really learning something, it's, you know, sort of just going through the paces, right? Like, you got to try new things. And
yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's too easy sometimes to get caught up just using the same techniques again and again and again. And, you know, that's why I started following modelers with different weathering processes, like Mike Rinaldi. I don't know if anybody follows his YouTube channel. He's got it opened up my eyes to the use of oils and how to weather with those. And it's really been a game changer for me. But he's just one of many that do that. But his process is very simple to learn, and it yields some good results.
Yeah, oils have been a bit of a game changer for me, because I only learned about them or using them fairly recently, since getting into sort of scale models. But then I've brought that technique back across to painting miniatures and things as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's some pretty interesting effects because generally the whole miniature thing and generally your Warhammer and stuff, people tend to just stick to acrylics and acrylic washes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can get some really interesting effects with oils.
You can control it too completely. You know,
Yeah.
if you can even completely remove it if you need to. And with the odorless thinner, which is far less not so hot as store-bought enamel thinner, it allows you to really control the. There's Julian. Oh, David has an interesting comment too.
Yeah.
Brian says, or in the UK, silver or brasso or jewelry polish. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, brasso. I have that too. Yeah.
David says, when I left Pay As You Die was a reasonable system, only a shade more expensive than the previous deduction cost. But the sandwiches and pasties, etc., in the adjoining shop were stupidly expensive. Yeah.
Yep.
See, I don't even think they're reasonable. Julian says, I forgot about this. Afternoon, Mikey, Tiff, Jim, and Tim.
Oh,
Well, glad to hear, Julian.
We were wondering where you were.
Yes, your sense of humor is always most welcome.
Yes. Julian says, afternoon, all in chat. Aye.
Yeah.
Fortunately, all in chat have gone home.
Apparently, yeah. Like, wow.
I think.
I'm gonna have to get some thin wire.
For?
My kit bash.
Okay.
Just because I've finished the dragon head, basically. It's just
Okay.
put aside until I've.
Well, if you got an old phone charger you're not using, strip the insulation away, and there's very, very tiny strands of copper wire in there that are joined together. You just undo them, and you've got a supply of that.
Probably need something a little bit thicker. It's for the looking at it. The supports for the second seat that's higher.
Mm-hmm.
It's supported by some very intricate
Okay.
metal supports.
Yeah. Well, being a modeling pack rat myself, I've got all kinds of wire that I just pick up here and there, and then when I'm looking for something that's scale close to what I need, I use the good old calipers and measure it out, see if it's what I want. But yeah, I've got so much diameter of fine wire in a couple of storage drawers on my main modeling bench. It's almost shameful.
Yeah, it's like a metal frame with obviously like the cushions and that on, and then some
Right.
nice sort of like filigree type support.
Okay. What scale are you working in?
It's 1/35.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then maybe 1 or 2 mil wire might work for you. That might be something.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
Yeah. There's I bought some stuff at Swap Meets. There's a vendor, a couple local places I go to, and he's got lead wire in little packages. They're, it's like $2 for a pack of like 1 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil, 4 mil wire. So I buy one of each. I've got it on hand if I need it. And lead is a lot easier to maneuver shape and form. Copper's another good one, but I don't know too many places I can buy copper wire. Maybe a hardware store or electronic store or something. I don't know.
Fuse wire would work.
I'm sorry?
Fuse wire.
Fuse wire. Oh, okay. Right.
Before I got my electrical trade, like I was always kind of handy with with electrical stuff, and that my now wife, her apartment had one of the old fuses in Australia that had like the wire through it, and that had blown. So I think it was on the oven circuit in the kitchen, but that had gone, and all I knew was, well, you know, you fix that, circuit's back on, all good. Used a piece of clothes hanger, and I got about halfway through my trade, and then thought, that apartment is probably burnt down. It's like quadruple the width of the wire breaker.
It's like people that used to put nuts or screws in the fuses.
Oh, there was a great picture of like an old truck fuse, kind of fuse panel. And they'd replaced them with, you know, bolts and things like that. And there was a 7.62 round.
Oh yeah, I saw that
there as well. So, okay.
I do like to live dangerously. Okay, what's going on here? I think I've put the gun on the wrong way around.
You know, that's a funny AFV you're working on, Mike. I swear, sometimes you don't know if it's coming or going.
Yeah.
When you put the cannon on the front, then I'll know which is the bow and which is the backside.
There we go. Julie says, "Panic over. I'm here, or is it that I'm here? Okay, you can panic now." Sonic says, "Hey guys, going late to the party."
Ah, there he is. Speak of the devil. Hello, Sonic, mate.
3 minutes left.
Oh my God, you're right. Holy cow, I didn't realize the time.
Julian says, "Drat, looks like I missed a chat about Welsh history." You did, mate, and you'd have been very helpful because my knowledge of Welsh history is very limited. It's not something I particularly took an interest in.
Found an old Mini that I used a little bit of oil on.
Ooh.
I think it was one of the first ones I did. So, see if
That's a Stormcast.
Nice.
Yeah, very good.
Oh man, it really doesn't want to. It's actually better without the paper.
That's really good though. Who is that? 'Cause I feel like I recognize them.
That's Dante from 40K.
Dante.
That looks more like Age of Sigmar. Stormcast.
Yeah. Well, feel obligated to say these were the original Golden Boys before Stormcast ever existed. So the top echelon of the Blood Angels, they have the gold armor. But yeah,
so basically the Stormcast were modelled after them.
Yeah. Well, their normal colors, you know, being Blood Angels, you know, is red. So that's one of their dreadnoughts.
Yeah. I know that the Stormcast have. There is some with red armor, like Iron Thanes, I think.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Age of Sigmar, but
I know
of the sci-fi figures.
I know limited amount. So I have the Stormbringer magazine subscription. I'm just waiting for my last 2 magazines to turn up.
Oh, nice.
I
think the UK gets all that stuff before Australia does. So
yeah, Australia's not long just got it.
Yeah, we sort of see what's coming and just stare enviously, as you know. For
the premium edition is pretty cool. It's where I got the dragon head from. The one I'm putting on my car.
Yeah.
It's the second head from the premium dragon model.
Yeah.
Doo-doo.
Julian says, Sonic says, sheep history. Ha ha ha. Julian says, I was late to afternoon Sonic. And Sonic says, hey Julian. Right, we are at the 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for you two guys in the chat. So, John shows what you've achieved. We'll go
Sure.
for Tim first.
So first thing I did was got some more paint down on these landing gears and stuff like that, and the little AMRAMs got their markings, their bands and things, and then little landing gears and stuff, just kind of getting started. So they're all ready to get a gloss coat, so I can do the decals and stuff like that. And I stuck this bad boy together, which is 3D print
cool.
that I had going for a while.
Wow.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Saved myself like $200. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I got up to. Just little fiddly things and sticking stuff together.
Excellent. Jim?
Oh, I speaking of little fiddly things, yes, sticking things together, yes. I've been doing little bits and pieces on the Tiger turret. I got the all the little handles on the inside and outside of the hatches done. Glued the cupola to the top of the turret roof. Still have to glue it to the rest of the assembly, but I was checking to make sure everything's going to fit right once I got the glue down. We all know how that goes. It may fit right when you're dry fitting, but when you put the glue on, all of a sudden you get problems. So just making sure, like for the 10,000th time, it works. But I'm going to add some figures to this, so I was gluing some plastic bases on the inside of the turret so the figures can sit, or stand, I should say, in there properly. Wanted to make sure about that. And put the side bins together. These are actually going on the side of the turret. This is the initial production Tiger, so it's a little different looking than the standard Tiger one that everyone may have in their mind. But yeah, that's about it. Just doing little bits and pieces. Oh, also put the I put some Mr. Surfacer 500 on the end of the gun barrel on the muzzle brake to give it a little cast texture. I'll sand it down later once it dries. And then I scored the aluminum barrel. I'm going to put some metal primer on there so the paint will stick to it. And that's about it.
Excellent.
Very nice.
Sonic said, that looks badass, Tim.
Well,
Yes,
hey,
it
thank
does.
you.
It's very, very, very amazing what 3D printing can do.
And Julian says, potted history of Wales, ruled most of what is now mainland UK. Idiot Prince invites Angles, Saxons, and Jutes to hold the fort while he fights the Irish. They stay put and call the Welsh foreigners. Yeah. That's what Wales, the word Wales means, foreigners.
Oh, really? Ah, okay.
That's why a lot of people in Wales now. That's why a lot of people in Wales now are using the word Cymru, because it means countryman.
Hmm.
You showing what you've been up to, Modders?
I think I've got my bottom. Nope, wrong one. Hang on. God damn it. I think it's that one. I don't know why it's not working.
Ah, there you are.
Oh, that's my face. Oh, hang on. No, I look like crap, man. I've been crying all night.
Oh,
Yeah, so, hang on. Dragonhead for the cart. There's not much detail being seen. I've got really crappy cameras. But yeah, that's all I've done. Just put that together, made the tongue for it.
Excellent. Well done.
Very good. Very good.
Me, started to make the gun. There you go. So,
There you go. You got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna the trunnion works. Okay.
Yeah. So I've got a few more bits to make, and I've made a bit of I've made the first half of the track pods. Yeah, the rest of it's really fiddly, so I'm not doing that on camera because if I'm not concentrating, I'll lose a lot of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me done for today. We've got no more comments.
No.
I turn the camera back over. There we go.
Take the chat away. Everyone's gone.
I know, we've scared them off. So yeah. Well, we managed to have some really good chats today.
Yes,
Really
we did.
good
Thank
talk
you very much for everyone imparting your patience with my questions. I appreciate that.
That's fine. Sorry, I couldn't answer them all, but
Oh, well, that's okay. That's hey, like I often tell people, you can research these things very easily now. We all carry a personal computer with us, or most do.
Yeah.
So it is available, but no, it's been a very good time. Thank you again for inviting me in.
this is the thing. I mean, other than my scale modeling books and my photography books, all my history books are all on World War One. I think I've got one that's about the Vikings and one about the Titanic, and that's it. Other than that, all my books about World War One.
That's a topic that's always open to reading in my mind. That's for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us today, Tim.
Oh, thanks for having me.
With your pretty kitty ears.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I just don't want to get rid of them. They're almost a novelty at this point.
It's part of your character now on the show, isn't it?
Yes. I was about to say you're exactly right, Mikey. Yes.
Yeah, then it'll be the black spandex and the face paint before you know it.
Yeah, he's gonna comb his tash so it looks like whiskers.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get Pyro and stuff and Gene Simmons. Yeah, we'll be rocking out.
Yeah, but instead of latex suit or whatever, you're gonna have a PVC suit with all the white stitching on it. so you look like Catwoman.
Very progressive. 2024.
Yeah. Julian just said, "Roll on years and princes Edward the First. Oh, roll on years and princes. Edward the First invades and conquers Wales. Edward promises a prince of Wales that speaks no English. Presents his baby son. Ever since Wales has been a principality of England. It was until Henry VIII declared it its own country. That I do remember, because that's when it ceased to be a principality. We just kept the prince as a ceremonial thing.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, we are 8 minutes past the 2-hour mark, so we had better head off. So thank you all for coming today. It's been fun, as always.
Yes. Thanks again for inviting.
We'll be back with the viewers panel on Monday. With Mr. Marley won't be here. Mr. Evans should be here, I think. And then, so we'll be back for that on Monday at 2 p.m. I'm back on Tuesday, hopefully with me, the budget modeler, and Modest.
Yep.
So, yeah.
How, before you go, how is Steph doing? Did he have to have some kind of surgical procedure?
Yeah, he's all right.
Okay.
It's only like a morning thing.
Okay, well, that's good.
The anaesthetic you have to have made him a bit.
Right. Yeah, I know. I've been.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah. See you all next week. Bye for now.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.